first thing I'd like to ask is, how many of you guys don't like being surveilled? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay, to the folks in the back, and Kim Weaver, I assume, there's a website that can make you a lot of money. Talk to me afterwards, okay? That sort of thing aside, I've got a few more questions. How many of y'all voted for or against block cameras? Anybody? No? Ah, that's funny. I don't remember there being a vote, so I was just confirming that. I know y'all don't live in live vote, not all of you do. So I thought I'd ask. There was no vote. How many people have spoken up for city council or county council meetings or anything like that in person? No? Oh, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In favor or just?
Anything, yeah.
For anything?
Yeah, anything related to the flock or the
Yeah.
surveillance.
Oh, yeah.
No? Oh, sorry. Oh, we spoke. This is a Patriots meeting. Okay. Fair enough. So I'm going to be biting an awful lot more than I can chew in 15 minutes. Just a warning. I'm going to talk a lot more about the broader principles versus the intricate technicalities of these systems, because at the end of the day, we could debate this stuff left, right, all around. It's not going to make a damn difference unless we actually do something about it. So we should talk about the principles as well as actual political action. Judging by those earlier hands raising about surveillance, I think I've got most of you. We will see. Eventually Ken Weaver's going to talk. He's going to say a lot of various things, various justifications, various whatnot about how flock cameras are legal or a force for good. I just want to keep in mind that pretty much every single one of those arguments could probably be used for microphones under every seat at the park or something similar to that. You might hear things like, it's only used on criminals. Those microphones at the bottom of the seats of every park and every public space, it's only used for criminals. We aren't actively listening in. That's a good one. It's a public place. There is no expectation for privacy. Okay, in a public park, you might be able to say that, yeah. It just replaces a police officer doing the same thing. You'll hear that. And then, of course, you'll hear it's legal, don't worry. I mean, I'm sure lots of wonderful laws were passed because they were legal. And then finally, and this is a more gnarly one that you would hear, is it doesn't capture your voice. It only transcribes the words. It doesn't identify the speaker. It only identifies them as speaker 1 or speaker 2. Now, you might think this is a slippery slope argument. You might think, Addison, this couldn't happen. Wrong. Flock has gunshot detectors, and those have been trained. Firstly, they have microphones, but they also have sent over live training data from the United States over to subcontractors in the Philippines. I think I mentioned that the last time I spoke here about 9 or 10 or 11 months ago. It's been a while. But just to keep in mind, that's a thing, and various other methods of this sort of state surveillance are a thing. So it is not a slippery slope, just keep that in mind. Ken's probably going to get a little emotional. The last time we spoke, was telling some very good tales about some police stuff going on there.
Not tales.
I'm sorry, true stories. Just if I ask him a direct question on my segments, hold him to a basic response. Don't let him talk in circles. I hope you hold me to the same standard. Well, anyways, I'm going to go to a couple of questions and topics. I forget who. I'm sorry, it's been a busy day. Somebody mentioned a couple of things that I should talk about. Firstly, if you guys aren't aware, flock cameras and a lot of these ALPR systems are nationwide connected. Basic principle is that if I, Absent Snyder, have access to 2 or 4 cameras in my backyard, that's one person having access to 2 or 4 cameras. Let's say 2 people have access to 2 cameras. That's a total of 4 accesses, if you will. 3 people and 3 cameras, 9. We have 120 in counting, 120,000 cameras nationwide, accessed by, I forget how many thousands and thousands of jurisdictions and police departments. Do the math. It gets very, very, very ugly. So very, very, very ripe for abuse. It's all interconnected. The data is analyzed, stored, and as of February, contractually, I believe it can be sold. That's a big, big question mark. There's a lot of question marks related to what they can do with the data. Another question is, who at the Sheriff's Department signed the contract? The truth is, as far as the accounting is concerned, I have not researched and pushed much at the county level. I only have so much time, and I've been laser focused mostly on the city council, because I think, my view, I want to start at the city, get them to act, and then push for the county, and then push for Lake City, and then push for other places. That's my goal, and that's my plan of action. So the truth is, a lot of these county-specific questions, I don't know. I strongly suggest you guys figure it out on your own. FOIA, ask your representatives, do whatever you can. Do something. I don't like that very few of you talked at city council meetings. It's a big, big deal. How long is the contract? Here in Live Oak, it is 24 months. I think it started early 2024, so we are a couple of months away from renewal. So we are at a very critical time when we're talking about budget for renewal. I could be wrong on the specifics, but I believe we are very, very close to the end of that, where it gets renewed automatically if they don't give them 30 days notice to leave. Is the polite word, alternative to what just came up in my head. The contract is self-renewing. The contract does change, not at every renewal. This is important. Contract doesn't change at every renewal. It changes, generally speaking, at the whim of Flock. I'll get into that later. Have contract signatories or county commissioners been doing I'm unaware of that, sorry. Actual cost per month. So I did the math, it'd be roughly $230 per camera per month. Now I'm just a nobody who is reasonably decent with tech. That's a lot of money for a friggin' camera. What are all the criteria for flagging a subject? Honestly, I didn't quite understand that question. You can pretty much type anything in a search and it will use machine learning to find it. You can ask for things like buckets on top of cars. I don't know why I came up with that example. You can look for roof racks. You can look for bumper stickers. You can look for all sorts of things. And they say they'll curb abuse. They will promise up and down, oh, we have ways to curb abuse. I've yet to see somebody prove to me that you can't put in, I don't know, Christian bumper sticker in or something similar. Figure it out. It's very open-ended. I've got the patents and all sorts of other technical information about that. So again, these are the questions those are the things that was brought to me literally an hour or two before this meeting. Okay, so what's next? Okay, fundamentally, one of the biggest questions is, what is the right to privacy? Most of this stuff was figured out in the 60s. 60s were a very important time in the U.S. 1962, I believe, there was a Supreme Court case between a guy named Katz and the United States. The FBI, I think, got Katz because he was in a phone booth talking about gambling across state lines, giving tips to people across state lines. I have no idea what the heck is legal or illegal with gambling. I don't gamble. But the way they got in was they stuck a microphone on the outside of a phone booth, right outside, like on the phone booth, but not technically inside the phone booth. Katz's lawyers argued, hey, he had a right to privacy in that phone booth. You were listening in. That might as well be wiretapping. You did that without a warrant. That's not cool. And the Supreme Court, generally speaking, agreed. One of the major things that came out of that was a couple of quotes. The first one, which is a little bit more rhetoric-y than definitive, was the Fourth Amendment protects people, not places. Very important. I mean, you can't really, it's not black and white, but the Fourth Amendment protects people, not places. And then the actual thing that came out of that was the Katz rule, the Katz test. And I'm just quoting, slight paraphrase here. What a person knowingly exposes to the public is not subject to the Fourth Amendment protection. Meaning, I'm out here, color my shirt, I can't whine and moan if the police note it. Fair enough. The second part, first, that individual must have exhibited an expectation of privacy, meaning I had demonstrated that I wanted something to be private. Now if I was wearing something under this shirt and they found out, that'd be an invasion of privacy as far as me. And secondly, that expectation must be one that society is prepared to recognize as reasonable. This is huge. That second part of the Katz test is huge because while I might be afraid of people seeing the color of my car, well, generally speaking, society doesn't think that's reasonable. And I agree with that. Now, would I say it's reasonable that somebody see me going to the dollar store on a random day? Yeah, maybe. I can see that being reasonable. But 24/7, every day of the week, every place I go, whether I want to leave the city, because as Jeff Sessions, who normally sits over there, said over the phone to me, when I initially asked him about this, he said, there's no way in or out of this city without being seen by these license plate readers. That was over the phone. That was one of the first people I talked to who acknowledged their existence in this city. There's intent there. So, important. What's next? I've got a bunch of broad ideas to go over. What is legal versus what is right? Ken Weaver or any sort of opposition will likely say it's legal, or as Roundtree said when I was talking to the Republicans thing, he said, well, the courts have yet to figure it out, which is, no pun intended, a total cop-out. Courts have yet to figure it out. Figure out ethics. Figure it out. You are a law enforcement person. You've probably taken some sort of degree in criminal justice. Tell me to my face that it's right or wrong to have full mass surveillance going on. And it is surveillance. Flock says so themselves. I can pull up verbiage in that as far as their patents and stuff go. Okay, what's next? This is pretty obvious. I think I mentioned this last time, but this is not a red or a blue or an issue specific to any political party. Anybody that says, oh yes, you're a liberal or you're this or that for saying so, full of crap. I lose respect pretty quickly for them. There's another one is just following orders. Let's pull up some wonderful footage. Let's see now. Oh, cool. That's convenient. It's right there. So this is one of the first videos I saw of Fluff. One of the first. There's tons of these out there, by the way. And I'm going to skip to a couple points. Let's see if the audio works too. Or if my computer works. Let's see. How's the audio? Alright, I guess the audio is... Yeah, I got to fool around with it. Oh well. Let's do HDMI. Let's see if that guy works. I hope not waste too much time. Here we go. Let's get... So, here the guy pulls out.
No, open, let me see your hands. Walk out.
Holds a dude at gunpoint.
Turn it around.
Gets him out of the car. Gets him back. Very standard police stuff, which is fine. It's some young kid. I think he's 16. Let's go to 7 minutes and I can read 10 seconds. He's like, why the heck am I, getting rid of him?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that, man. But the information we got and everything, that's what we got, I don't mean to scare you that bad, but we can 756 since we did that same that's a same that we're giving from 106. Hey, let me see you get out!
Oh, jeez, I got a second one playing
Open the door! Put your hands up!
Where is it? Let's get this. Sorry about the technical difficulties there.
So this is body cam that we're seeing.
Yeah, his mom had to do a FOIA request. She is currently was suing the city. This is 2022. Flock was deployed, 2023. Flock was deployed here 2022. I believe that's how they got his plates. You'll note the officers are intentionally vague about how they got their information. They'll say things like, "Oh, that's just the information we were given," or "That was the plate we were given."
Hello?
They aren't even aware. This is really how you tell. He's like, "Oh, the kid, you might have missed it." He said, and they were looking for this truck. He's like, "Well, yeah, and this is a plate we were given." So they don't even know the color of the car of the truck. The color of the, yeah.
Hello?
He's talking to his mom. His mom is righteously pissed.
Hello? Oh, sorry, ma'am, I couldn't hear you. So, I guess there was a confusion, but this was the truck that we were given out to look out for.
I am livid. You know what?
No, I understand that.
And you guys have him fucking handcuffed. He just got him going to something that 1.2 GPA kid.
I understand, ma'am, but that's the information that we're given, so...
Okay, it's funny. It is funny seeing a mom react that way and like, I'm going to bring out my lawyers because she keeps going. But again, that's just the information we were given. And I will repeat, and I'm sorry if this is a big repeat from 9 months ago or whatever. That is just the information we were given. I am sorry we held a gun to your boy's body. That's just the information we were given. Not cool. So... Anyways, that's pretty sad, even though I got to chuckle at it a little bit. But there's many cases like that. What is to come? Let's say that this city council says, yeah, we're canceling the contract, because they probably will. They probably will. There's enough political willpower out there. A lot of people out there with pitchforks and torches, so to say. They probably will do something. But that is not the end of it, and I'm going to tell you why. Firstly, there are literally like 7 or 8 or 9 different companies that do the exact same thing. They're just going to sneak in and do the same thing under a different name, or they're going to promise extra security or extra audits or extra this. Those are all generally meaningless. Very recently, a couple days ago, Flock put out in response to all this heat they're getting, we are tightening things up. Instead of 30 days, by default, we are now doing 7 days. What they don't tell you is that that's 7 days for new customers, not only firstly. Secondly, the audits are kind of, I've looked into it, they're not good. They're just like pretend audits. And again, this is done internally. Who's the weakest link here? It's the police. So who's doing the audits? The police? I don't know. There's some issues going on there as well. So, running out of time. Dang. I got 1 page through 3. I'm here to talk all week. I'll let you go, Ken.
All right, Mr. Ken Weaver, please.
I debated on speaking. I could have called in and said, I'm sick. I had a colonoscopy yesterday. I went under anesthesia. So, if I blank out a little bit, give me a little break. But I didn't want to look like a wuss.
Thank you.
So I'm here. Now, I debated on how to talk about this. I've already talked, Moses and I've already talked. I know how he feels. You and I have talked, I know how you feel. Kevin and I have talked, I know how he feels. And I thought, how am I going to talk to people? There's nothing I can say or do that's going to change minds. There's nothing that's going to change mine other than a U.S. Supreme Court case. So I started researching and studying. And I was trying to figure out what I could say today. So what I'm going to tell you is, I've been a police officer since I was 21 years old. I joined the Florida Highway Patrol in 1981. I got hired when I was 21. When I came on, the technology then was a mobile radio in the car, no cell phones, no portables, no laptops, and a teletype at the Lake City stations. On evening shift and midnights, because the skip was so bad on the radio system, and what I mean by skip, I could talk to a trooper in Oklahoma better than I could talk to my dispatcher in Orlando or DeLand. Now think of that. Oklahoma's a long way from here. Now, in my career, this is what I've seen. We've gone to portable radios. Oh, wow, that was pretty cool. We went to 800 megahertz radio system. It doesn't work like it's supposed to, but it was better than what we had. All encrypted. You can't scan it. You can't. Civilians can't listen. All kinds of neat gizmos on it. Then we got laptops. A lot of the old guys, we've never even used it. They just put a towel on it and a coffee cup. You can remember that, Kevin. Then we went to an operating system called SmartCop. What's that? That program, when you logged on with your individual number, showed you were logging on, what time. It had a camera in there. If they wanted to, they could watch it. If it was GPS enabled, the laptops, so there's tracking. How fast you're going, when you're going, what time you're going, what day you're going. Then we started getting all these databases. Data. I talked to you about data. Driver's license and registration vehicle database. That's through DHSMV. So what, Ken? What's data? Every digital picture you have in the Florida driver's license system, every digital signature is in that system. Who owns your vehicles? If they're yours or the bank. When we first got them, it was wide open. I'm not going to tell you there wasn't abuse. There were some guys that were looking at their old girlfriends or girls looking at their old boyfriends. Well, the Florida Highway Patrol, now, A disclaimer, I put 33 years in with it. They put guardrails on it. They will fire your butt over misuse of data, or give you 3 to 5 days off, depending on how egregious it is. For a police officer getting 3 to 5 days off without pay, and that in your personnel file, that's a big deal with us. As a disclaimer, I have none. None. So, we got data. Now, we had to be certified. Every time you logged in, it says all that abuse went away after we fired a few people. I refused to get certified in it again. I just used the dispatchers. So I became an investigator, detective. I did traffic homicide investigations all over North Florida, 11 counties. 2 different circuits, judicial circuits. I would call an analyst. And what an analyst can find out about you and you and you and me will boggle your mind. Ex-husbands, former wives, who owes what, child support, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of, and this doesn't even touch what the federal government can do. Those guys and gals that work with the Marshal Service, what they can find out through the Marshal Service with the federal databases, Social Security, Medicare. You can track people, the ones that don't want to be found, that have open warrants. That's why the Marshal Service is so good at what they do. Because people still want to get their Social Security check. Yeah, at a post office box. So, now let's fast forward. The flock. The technology has evolved. So I first came in contact with flock about a year ago. One of the most senior sergeants on the Florida Highway Patrol, whom I'm friends with, called me and said, "You're not going to guess what I got into today." I said, "What?" He said, "I got a flock kit, or I put in a flock kit." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Well, I'm the shift commander for Troop H." Well, that's all of the counties around Tallahassee and everything. They had a double homicide. Some of y'all have heard me talk about this. And it happened at a convenience store in Gadsden County off the interstate. Now, let's talk about video surveillance. That convenience store had a beautiful video surveillance system in there, inside and outside. The S&S at 129 and I-10, oh yeah. The S&S down here, oh yeah. To the point that if you get a wreck in the intersection in front of it, we go look at the video to see who actually did what. Back to this. So in that double homicide, it showed the assailant walking in. It showed him murdering the clerk. Beautiful picture. Yeah. Then as the beer guy came in, showed him shooting him, killing him. I mean, it living color detail. Then it showed the 2 long maintenance guys fixing to come in. And he shot at them and they hauled buggy. Well, it showed all of that. Then it showed him leaving, going out the door to his vehicle, which was over on the right side. Now, it showed the side of his vehicle, but at no angle did it get the tag number at all. So the deputies that got there from Gadsden County, Quincy PD, Florida Highway Patrol, bad scene, a lot of dead people. Who did it? Well, the first thing you do is you watch the video. You gain access to the video through the manager. The manager has to come. Anybody recognize him? No. Nobody recognizes him. So he's not local. Because if he's local, He's been in trouble probably before, or we know him. Doesn't matter if it's black, white. So then, what use facial recognition? We don't have that. Feds do. Some cities up north do, but we don't. So we can't use facial. So how do we find out? Sergeant Rick Norris pulls in and says, hey, I just got this Flock program in my laptop. What do we do now? Well, we know it's, for instance, a silver Toyota with a ding in the door. Enter that in. Hey, within 5 minutes, there's a hit on that, or a vehicle matching that description. It went eight or nine times back and forth from Quincy to Tallahassee within a 4-day, 5-day period. Back and forth. Finally, one of those images showed a tag number that came back to that car. So Rick entered it in. That evening or the next evening, late at night, on I-10, there's Flock cameras, Florida Highway Patrols, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Florida Department of Agriculture, around the inspection stations. Got a hit in Madison County, eastbound on I-10. Okay, well, we're going to check out the vehicle. Maybe a mistake. Let's check it out. So the ag guy from the I-10 inspection takes you to get behind him. Turn on the blue lights. It runs. Okay, it could be running for something else. Maybe he's got a suspended license. Maybe he's drunk. Okay. Then the Florida Highway Patrol jumps in. He jumps off on 90 at I-10. And I'm talking about a pursuit now. I'm not talking about 80 miles an hour, granny driving. I'm talking about a pursuit. I've been in these pursuits where you're chasing a double homicide suspect. You've never done that before, I can tell you. Your heart's beating. You got tunnel vision. You know you may have to do something you don't want to do, but you're going to do it. So, deputy gets involved from Swanee County. Just in front of Wayne Friars, there's a swampy area. The guy dives off. Deputy dives off. The troopers are all up, and then there's shots fired. Your adrenaline's pumping then. Who fired the shots? Well, the guy did with a Magnum pistol, .357 Magnum. The deputy's hit in the foot. Manhunt. Lots of people involved. Finally, a complaint comes in on 795 at the where they've got pine straw, some semi-trailers parked. The owner says, "Hey, I don't know if you that there's a guy that just went back there towards those ambulance bodies." Send 2 live up PD officers, male and female. They're looking around. Open the side door of one of those ambulance bodies. There he is, with that pistol pointed at the back doors. What we do, the way we're trained, gun. And you retreat. And as you retreat, you start shooting. Because he's got a gun, and you knew he was prepared to use it. Again, the female, she can shoot. And she hit him multiple times in the heart. And killed him, what we call graveyard death. And she got her and him got an award right here by the city manager and the chief. Medal of Honor. Heroism under fire. So that all boils back to Flock. And that Flock hit. Because we wouldn't have identified him because we don't have facial recognition. And we didn't have a tag number. And this guy, maybe we would have spotted him later, or the vehicle tried to stop and the same thing happened, he's going to run. Okay, now, I checked with the Florida Highway Patrol, my alma mater. I got a lot of information from them because they use it statewide. Most all the troopers have it. The program and the regional communication centers have it. Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Pensacola, Orlando, West Palm, Tampa. So, how does the patrol? Patrol's got guardrails on it. Lots of guardrails. And if you deviate from those guardrails, they will fire your ass.
Excuse me.
Excuse my language, but I'm just being honest. I'm talking to you as a trooper, retired trooper. So those guardrails, to give you an idea with the patrol, I'd love to tell you that all agencies have those guardrails. Well, they don't, they better. So here's some of the guardrails that the Florida Highway Patrol has. The directives governing the flock system data use are effective immediately until replaced or rescinded. LPR, that's flock. LPR data and system access are strictly for official law enforcement purposes only. Let me repeat that now. For official law enforcement purposes only. All personnel using the flock system must receive proper training to ensure system integrity. System access is limited to FHP personnel only. Regional communication employees, Florida Highway Patrol dispatchers, must follow established RCC procedures for searches, hot list entries, alert handling, and CAD documentation. License plate entries into the FHP custom hot list may only be made for the legitimate, specific law enforcement reasons such as outstanding warrants, missing persons, children, stolen vehicles.
Can we stop here and let him have 5 minutes?
I'd
and
be
we'll
happy-
come
yeah.
back and-
Sure.
Yeah, we can totally continue after me. I'm okay keeping going all day long. But yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Be happy to let you return to that right after 5 minutes. I do appreciate hearing that, though. Okay. So Kim brought up a couple interesting things there. Firstly, he said that the inside and outside cameras of that convenience stores were crystal perfect. The imagery that came to mind was that you could see the blood bits coming out of people's heads, the way he described it. That's the imagery that came to my mind. Well, I'm curious. So my question is, you said facial recognition was not an option, although I have a document, if I can pull it up. I do believe, I could be wrong, and I'd love to get more information here. I believe we have the faces thing along with other things for facial analysis. This has been in place for a long time.
But that's Pinellas, right?
What's that?
Pinellas County.
That's for a lot. It lists tons. Suwannee County was one of them. Let's see if I can find the...
That's APHIS, though.
Say it again?
That's APHIS, though.
I'm sorry. I'm not aware or familiar.
APHIS is when I arrest somebody or any
Oh,
other.
it's only for arrest.
And you take them
actually.
into jail,
Mhm.
and you have to be fingerprinted. You have a digital fingerprint, and then it takes a picture, and then it's run through NCIC, National Crime Information Computer, and Florida's Crime Information Computer. That way, if you know there's a national felony warrant on that individual on the top left, so that's what APHIS is.
All right, fair enough. Let's pretend
Only
this
in the
doesn't
jails.
exist. I'll let that rest then. Okay, so couldn't have gotten that through facial recognition. I'll admit, I'll yield that. But I got a feeling. Okay, so we could switch over to this. Let's go to, was it July? Yes, I believe so. So we have a case in Daytona Beach where a woman was held for 13 days. Her name was Lindsay Isaacs. She was jailed for 13 days after a fatal hit and run. So I guess I'm raising your double homicide with a triple vehicular homicide here. And they ran plates figured it was her, held her for 13 days in a jail. They took her car for 7 months, and pretty much, generally speaking, ruined her life. She lost her job, she lost a lot of things. What really sucks to see, pardon the language, slow down there. I'd love to, let's see if I can pull up the video. The Facebook post with her in it was painful to watch. Absolutely painful. People are just ripping on her. She is 100% provably innocent. She had been through this ordeal for 8 or 9 months total, and her entire name is just dragged through the mud. They thought they committed triple vehicular homicide on her. Now, I've got to ask you a question. I don't know if you know all the specifics to this case, but do you think the police policy was followed for official purposes, for making sure it was used for a homicide, for a hit and run, for that sort of thing?
All right, so I did a lot of that work without flaw. I still have 2 open traffic homicides all these years later. One with 2 kids, about his age, and a mama, and another one with a 14-year-old black male pedestrian north of.
I don't mean to be rude, but I asked you about the policy.
But this case was a Florida Highway Patrol case, I believe.
Okay, and it was handed off to Volusia County. They were the people.
VCSO, Volusia County SO. All right, so their traffic homicide investigators had to have done it. So I can speak a lot about traffic homicide investigations since I've been deemed as an expert witness in federal, state, and county court in that, and DUI detection. But you can't rely strictly on, for instance, flock data. You have to match other stuff up. Just because you may think it's that car, if it hasn't been recently to a auto body shop and gotten fixed, or it doesn't have a left ding in it where you think the pedestrian struck, there's certain things, when a pedestrian gets struck, that happens. And it doesn't have that.
Is there a policy you would put in place that would help prevent that? And if so, what would it be?
Better investigative techniques. The problem we have now is we've got so many new people. When I became an investigator, I had 20 years on it. Now you may have 3 or 4 or 5 years on it. There's a 15% retention policy nationwide right now in law enforcement trying to get people that meet all the criteria, polygraph, background investigation, physical agility test, blood test, all this stuff, credit background.
If you don't mind me saying that, it's not straight from the trail. I don't mean to rush you, but I've only got 5 minutes.
I listen to you. You can listen to me.
I'll give you some more time.
Fair enough.
But so I'll grant you they should have been better work on that, and they were wrong. You're asking me if I would have done shotting?
No, I'm not asking that.
No, sir.
I'm asking if there was if policies that you've mentioned,
I would not.
law enforcement only, for official uses, for things like missing persons and so on, and if this would fall under that, and if policy could have prevented this. The current policy.
I don't know what they used the flock for unless she was allegedly a hit and run.
Yeah, she was, and I can. I have limited time, but I could pull up all that stuff. Okay. I don't want to. I promise you I could probably pull up the full thing. The lawyer's got a full, mid-20-page freaking blog post on this. I don't want to go too far down this road. My second thing, if I remember correctly, oh geez.
But yes, I think the policies probably were followed. Your question is, did the policies prevent this from happening?
And my second question was, you mentioned all these policies in paper. You've got sheets of those. I've got a quick question. When were those implemented? When was that printed out? When was that agreed upon? And I've got a weird feeling it was not agreed upon or put out until long after the SWAT cameras were put down.
When my understanding from the Florida Highway Patrol, from the leaders in the Florida Highway Patrol, who I personally know, who are not going to lie to me,
Fair enough.
told me that when the rollout happened in the last year or so. Now, let me back up. Are you aware that we started testing them?
Testing the flock cameras?
10 years ago.
No.
They
didn't exactly put a note anywhere there.
If you saw any big periscope-looking video cameras 10 years ago on a trunk of a Florida Highway Patrol vehicle, there'd be one on either side. That was SWAT cameras. That was the rollout and the testing of it back then.
I'm going to let this rest because I've got a lot more to go on, but the next topic I want to talk about is the accuracy of these. I'm sorry for the folks that attended a certain county, city council meeting. A lot of that's going to be a quick repeat.
All right, go ahead, Ken.
All right, you want me to talk? I was just reading some of the policies. Before taking action on an LPR alert, members must confirm the license plate, verify the alert reason through FCIC, that's Florida Crime Information Computer, NCIC, National Crime Information Computer, or another valid data source like DHSMD, Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, registration database. Any recover or arrest originating from a hot list alert will be entered by FHP. Now, what would the interest most of you guys is monthly random audits will be conducted by each troop, each regional communication center, and especially special units to ensure proper flock system use and detect misuse. So, our members, Florida Highway Patrol members know that there's random audits. It may be my name today, your name the next to, and we know what the penalties are.
What are the penalties?
Dismissal, or 3 to 5 days off, depending on what it is and how bad it is.
That's it?
How egregious.
If you don't mind me,
Hold on. And criminal charges by the IG, which is the internal people with the Florida Highway Patrol that do internal investigations on employees. Patrol's ruthless about it.
Would you support a law that says if you're a policeman or a government employee, and if you misuse that flock, that you should spend 10 years in jail? Would you support that law?
As long as
10
it-
years.
No,
Not
10
none.
years. It depends
none
on how
3 days
egregious
off.
of it. So it would depend on how egregious it is. So to your point,
All of them is egregious if they misuse it. Everyone. Because I know you have all these good things, and those are good. They really are. But there's always a criminal somewhere, whether they're
So-
a police officer or whatever.
This one I found was interesting. And the interesting part of this was that in this state, especially in Georgia, which has normally been kind of not as good as Florida about decertifying. So in order for us to be need to be a police officer, I have to be certified through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, CJST, Criminal Justice Standard Training Commission. So I've been continuously sworn since I was 45 years now. Every 4 years I have to be recertified. So if you get decertified, you're no longer a police officer. You cannot be hired. So what we do is we pull standards, certifications. We criminally, and it's not up to us, it's up to the state attorney. Once we file the charges, it's up to the judicial system, because it's called malfeasance. And what they do, what the judge, what the state sets aside to be done. But the patrol is pretty harsh, and a lot of the sheriff's offices have been pretty harsh. But I'll leave you with this. Yes, ma'am.
So, the convenience store murder.
Yes, ma'am.
He went in, got all the stuff on video, you can't identify him, the vehicle's there, what are we gonna do? And immediately, I got this block thing, we're gonna find some tags. But there is, like you said, you were an investigator for a long time, there would be other things, a crime that was committed. So typically, people, no one said he robbed a convenience store or anything. So was there another motive in these murders? Because that would just be like the actual investigative work that would go.
He wasn't from around Gaston
in
County.
there to go. So like there would have been like another opportunity or another way to get.
He wasn't from around there. He hadn't lived there any length of time. I forget just where he was from. It was out of state. No, he did have a criminal history.
Just because the go-to is like, well, essentially it's mass surveillance of everybody to catch these few criminals.
Well, I've got 2 recent federal court opinions on flock. There is 2. One is out of Texas. the Fifth Circuit, Federal Appeals Court covering Texas. And I've got another one for Eastern Virginia. The one out of Texas I thought was really interesting because that's a conservative state, theoretically.
Let's be honest.
But the Fifth Circuit, Federal Appellate Court covering Texas, held that obtaining periodic vehicle location information from an LPR log on public roads was not a Fourth Amendment search and required no warrant. The Fifth Circuit held that obtaining periodic automated license plate reader block data showing a vehicle's location on public roads, keyword, public roads, was not a Fourth Amendment search and therefore did not require a warrant. And so the court relied on the principle that a person traveling on a public thoroughfare generally has no reasonable expectation of privacy in those movements. Now that's not the interior of your car or anything like that. The other one is, the other opinion or court ruling was out of the Eastern District of Virginia. It was recent too. These are all in the last 6 months. I've got those court if you want.
Too, I agree. Yeah. No.
Now, well, here's what's on him and I have talked about it.
And then they're triangulating your phone.
That's different. That's going to be a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Break and let him have 5 minutes.
And him and I will agree on that.
Well, yeah, we'll talk a lot about that. The important part, and I brought it up earlier, is there's a huge difference between legality and what is right and wrong. Obviously, you live, breathe, drink, bathe in legality and what is legal, illegal, and whatnot. And I will just say that earlier today, we did the Pledge of Allegiance, and we said for liberty and justice for all. So there's an important balance between those two things. Something I read earlier, I never actually knew of this quote until a couple days ago, but a certain individual said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It has to be fought for and defended by each generation." I bring that up because, sadly, I'd say the median age here is like 60. I don't mean to be rude. It's just like, I hope we get more young people who care about this stuff, because there's a huge normalization, a huge cultural normalization of the reduction of privacy. Cameras are in every hallway of every school. I've seen videos, keep in mind this is New Zealand, not the freedom-loving United States, America, but I've seen footage of video cameras in bathrooms, not facing the stalls. Like, there's a hall, urinals, but you can see, it's like, there's a video facing, like, feed inside the bathroom and stuff. There's, so it's kind of concerning the direction things are going.
Exactly.
So, yep, correct. And also, I wanted to bring up a couple months ago. I said I'd go over these. I'm probably going to skip them for now, but I went on a road trip up north, and did a lot of things. Went caving, did a lot of fun stuff. I met a guy, an actual factual person who escaped Soviet Russia, and he told lots of stories. And one of the big overarching themes of his stories was there was state surveillance everywhere. He was telling me how even though you had a phone at home, you assumed that phone was listening in, even if it was put down. Mm-hmm. He said that there were very few ways to talk publicly. It was all done in whispers, in a park, when nobody was around, that sort of thing. And you hear a lot about communism nowadays. I think recently that's the new, there's this Red Scare 2.0 going on. Red Scare 2.0 going on here. And I just want to say that, this guy actually lived in communism. He hates communism. He's got bumper stickers all over, better dead than red, all that stuff, okay? This guy actually lived through communism. I'm telling you right now, one of the things that he hated the most was the surveillance. He was talking about that. He actually brought this up to me. I was just caving. He's like, yeah, these cameras are everywhere. This is going to turn terrible. So, bad news there. Let's see. I'm just going through little mini topics here. One of the biggest misconceptions that really ticks me off is the various cops saying that flak doesn't track people, in the same sense that guns don't kill people, only the bullets do. So, I found a wonderful, I'm going to lose my mind. Here's the patent. Here's a patent they filed in 2022. Note that they call it a dynamic surveillance network. So, their words, not mine. And if we scroll down, you have various, oh goodness gracious, how do I keep paging down? come on. Let's zoom out a bit. They have a system for tracking not just make, model, vehicle. They say, hey, there's a vehicle, what make or model it is, what color is it, that sort of thing. So they've got people, bikes, animals, and so on. Can I get about 20 more seconds?
Sure.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Let me find the other. So one of the big important things here is this patent is for an object detection module, which is configured to identify various classes of people, male, female, race, etc., including aspects such as, but not limited to, identifying clothing types, jacket, pants, shorts, hats, etc., and a neural network for gauging height and weight. So why does Flock have that as a patent? All right, I'll leave it at that.
You wanna come again, Ken, and finish your East Virginia case?
Sure. Let me find it. That United States v. Porter case, I've got the number for it if you want it. That's a March case, 26.
While you're looking, I'll say this about it. My husband and I went to Walmart to buy cat food, and I had 3 bags. I thought I had 3 bags of cat food, because I got 18 cats, so I really have to buy it, you know. So, we went back in to make sure that maybe we didn't leave one of the bags. And so they pulled us up on camera and said, no ma'am, said, we'd seen you walk to your vehicle, raise the back, and you put 2 bags in. Now, I can choose not to go to Walmart on account that what I'll do is order it online from now on, because I don't like the idea of people tracking me anyway. But I cannot, when I'm out on the road, there's no way I can get around the Flock camera. But I can get around Walmart.
Well, Flock's on I-10, Flock's on I-75.
So I have to stay at the house.
Walmart, Publix, Tractor Supply, Lowe's, all have really good, really
Yes, they
good videos.
But that's where we're at. Like you know,
How much
the
in your
bottom
mind is
line
too much?
You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That ain't the end of all this.
I'm going to give you another for instance. I get a call as an investigator from
Pass this,
Patrol
and we're going.
that, hey, do you have any contacts with the manager at this S&S at 129 and I-10? Yes, I do. She's a good friend. Well, when you call this Kentucky State Police investigator, detective, yes, call them up. We got a homicide. Stole the cards, credit cards in the vehicle. We put them in the computer. It hit, it flagged at that S&S. Do they have a video system? Oh yeah, it's really good too. So I go there, hey Dina, hey Ken, can you pull up yesterday? Guy drives in her car, the murder victim. Fills up with X number of gallons of gas, got that. Walks into the store, looks up at the camera, uses her credit card, all that information I got, date, time, what he bought. Guess what? He's got. I called the investigator up, the trooper. You got all that? Yes, I do. Will you come to court? Yes, I will. So me and her were able to solve that case with that information
From SNS.
from the S&S video camera system. Back then, they kept it on the hard drive for 7 days. Now it's more infinite.
Well, what's next, though? That's what I'd like to know. What's next? We go on and have all this. What's next?
Well, right
one
now,
of the things that I have, we talked about a lot of stuff, and I support the police 100%, and what you do to catch bad guys is great. No question there. When Flock makes a mistake, and these people get screwed, nothing happens. I would support the Flock system if these companies that own these Flock systems had a standard policy that everybody, every time somebody got pulled over that was totally innocent, they ought to got $1 million. Especially that woman that was spent 13 days in jail.
That was
The whole
particularly heinous.
the whole concept, it's better, and I've heard this since I was a little kid. It's better for one criminal to get off than it is to put one innocent person in jail. I go by that, 100%. That is my main concern of all of this.
All right, I took a screenshot of this because I like this. I think you may agree with some of this.
Fair enough.
You can oppose flaw. You can question flaw. You can demand stricter policies governing flaw. You can have a legitimate debate about privacy. And we're having a legitimate debate right now. Let's stop telling people something is unconstitutional simply because we don't like it. Read the ruling, understand the technology, understand the law. Then we have debate. That's how we have a serious conversation about public safety and constitutional rights.
I have never agreed
Let's-
with you more. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll let you finish.
We have two federal appellate court decisions that say it's, for whatever we feel, it's okay. Ultimately, I think it will go to the United States Supreme Court. But we may or may not agree, some of us, what the Supreme Court says. But that's what we have. That's our system. That's the law of the land. Once they decree it, that's the law of the land.
Can I ask you, if you don't mind, small response? If I break into your house and I steal stuff and I take it home with me, do you wait until the jury to arrest me, or do we debate about it and then do that? Or no, the thing is, we never had a debate. We never had a discussion. The police everywhere installed these without any sort of discussion or without asking us, and that I find particularly heinous.
I'm gonna give you a better quote than
Fair
the
enough.
one you used.
Oh, I just came up with that on the spot, so I knew it was going to be crummy, but I
I
appreciate
had
it.
to look it up because I was like, I'm to get it right. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
Good, Frank.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you mind if
And I like that. But here's, I'll leave you with this.
Fair enough.
And then I'm going to hush because I've got to go. We all got to go.
Yeah, you take your
I'll
time.
hush. But I thought about this. So let's just say the good Lord had decreed this last go around that I was sheriff of Swanee County. Okay? And let's just say that the majority of people here came to me as sheriff and said, we don't like it. Or a portion. Okay, we're not going to renew the contract. And you came to me 6 months from now and said, Sheriff, my son is missing. Huh? Or your good friend. Or your son. Let's just say your son. Your 8-year-old son or daughter is missing. Have you done everything you could do to find him? Yes, ma'am. Well, did you? I've heard about this SWAT thing. No, ma'am, we don't have it anymore. Folks here didn't want it. What do you mean people don't want it? You have not done everything you could do to find my child. Well,
You want some music
So
with
you,
that?
so that's where I put myself at.
So for me, so even if that missing person was me, I would not ask my fellow citizens to give up their safety for that.
Have you ever
And I
broken
dated
Because
a
of the
cop-
majority
and
feel
I
that
dated
way.
a cop for a
That's
long
the
time,
next-
and he would attack my phone, and I believe he would have done everything.
I got a question. You wouldn't break into a house to find evidence illegally, would you?
He even said he would track
Have
me
I broke
down
the law
if I
to
couldn't find him
take
out
that?
No, I'm saying, would you? You wouldn't
And
break
that's,
a.
and that's just what you did.
Let's
So
pretend-
I would not ask anybody to give up their liberty
No,
or
we
their
cannot.
privacy.
Let's pretend, since we're dealing with hypotheticals,
That's me.
since we're dealing with
Start
hypotheticals.
your time, so be careful asking them
Oh.
questions.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, fine. You're right. I said.
No, him and I could
You
talk
start.
forever about
Yeah,
this.
seriously. Okay, so I said I wouldn't want to debate about like the flock technicalities, and that's what I did, of course. I'm gonna move back. Let's zoom out a little bit to the politics, to what actually goes on and what actually matters, because we can debate all day. None of this matters unless we do something about it, or unless they do something about it. So I'm going to. Oh no! Please be on. There we go. I am going to go over to our various. You showing? Good. I'm going to go over to the timeline of the things I've said and done for the Live Oak community, or in front of the city council. I've emailed them many times about this throughout the months. I'm not sure how legible that is. I'm going to read off the dates. We have way back, almost a year ago, August 28th, 2025. next month after that, the next month after that. I've told these people many, many times, these city council members, I've told them that many times. I've grown increasingly pessimistic about it. At first I was like, they must be innocently ignorant. They don't know that the PD installed them. It's not their fault.
Yes, they do.
Now they do.
No, they knew before. 'Cause
No, they didn't.
Well, no.
When I first called them, the individuals I talked to, they had no idea.
It was buried inside the
It's-
PD budget.
Okay, fair. I still don't know all the
They had to
details.
backpedal to get it out.
Fair enough. Well, I didn't know. They didn't know, and I just assumed, oh no.
So the city council didn't have to okay the budget at the PD for
Did
these
not.
cameras?
They did, but it was,
It was-
the PD, I believe that it was under their authority. To
I'll
do
close
this
my-
type of thing, you don't go and ask for each decision.
It was. At first, I thought they were just ignorant, innocently, and they didn't know they installed them. Then I thought, okay, they're ignorant. They don't realize how bad the cameras are. Then they must genuinely disagree, and they are waiting to be convinced or told this information. And now, at this point in time, I feel that they genuinely don't care. You might ask, how did I reach that conclusion? I know this is that already. It's
Trying.
no, it's not that. It's out of juice. It's out of juice. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I'll figure it out while you speak, if that's okay. But I feel at this point in time, 4 out of 5 members on the city council just don't care. They've been told everything. I've given them plenty of speeches. I've given them plenty of calls. I've asked them for plenty of meetings, which they've agreed to, and many of them have just not followed up on after they said they'd meet me. I'm personally kind of sick and tired of that. And the other day, this is really damning to me, is there was a budget meeting. A couple folks here were a part of that. Nobody mentioned anything about Flock except for Adam Collins. Nobody. Even though they were fully aware. If they cared, they would have brought that up for debate. They did not. Adam Collins brought it up right at the end. I'm not sure whether he intentionally did that or not. But take that in action and understand that in action and whatnot. So now that the figurative pitchforks and the torches are out, I'm curious about how they'll vote. And more importantly, consider what that vote means. So if all 5 vote, yes, let's defund Flock, well, they could have defunded it a year ago almost. They could have talked about it a year ago almost. And at the very least, they accidentally or not so accidentally let it come into place without any sort of discussion. So the PD pushed this thinking they'd get away with it. The city council at first, I want to very benignly assume, didn't understand. And now they are not acting on it. So I think the general strategy across the nation is to, again, back to the whole cats argument of what is the public's reasonable expectation of privacy. It scares me because I think we're going to get into the circular justification for this where, oh, of course, we've had cameras for years. Duh, of course you knew about it. The entire public knew about it. It's like, but we didn't ask for it. But now you know about it, so you don't have expectation of privacy. Therefore, we can have these cameras.
But Abson, I don't know is it that they don't care. Just for instance, the American, that's what we're here for. We started in on fluoride, going down the water. We fought a hard fight. We finally got it done. It's going to have to be us, not the council. It's going
I'm
to be
sorry.
us that stand. If one person ain't going to get it done.
I strongly disagree with you on that. The sniff test says that these things are wrong, in my eyes. Morally speaking, the sniff test on that says these are wrong. The fact that every single one of them knew about them and did not consider asking the public or consider talking about it in public in any of these meetings, short of me really whining and moaning to my particular city council member, that speaks louder than words.
Not yet.
Until we show out, it ain't going to.
It shouldn't take someone to show out and talk about the liberties of an
But I'm
American.
saying, that's what it takes. It takes people
They said-
like
they
us
said it-
to
oh,
push them and
sorry,
push them
Marty.
and push them and not back up and not quit and keep pushing.
You can keep pushing, but it shouldn't take pushing for them to consider constitutional rights. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Please reach your own conclusions.
There's a question back here with AJ.
Yeah, what's up, AJ?
I don't know too much about the flock. It sounds to me like the flock cameras are okay, but it's whoever's running them or whoever's doing whatever they're doing with the information they're getting from the cameras. But I don't know too much about that. But what I will say is, as far as Walmart goes, I would get cash back one day, $60 cash back on my card, like an idiot. Grabbed my groceries and I left it there.
I've done that with $100 on
Woman
college
behind me
tutor.
took it and put it in her purse. Walmart cameras found it. I was gonna prosecute her, but I let the cop talk me out of it because she was out of state. But you do not have any expectation of privacy. As soon as you walk out of your house, there's ring cameras that are gonna get you, there's.
I would agree with you for one camera or 2 cameras or 10 cameras, not 110,000 cameras.
There's, you know, a ditch on both sides of the road. I want to get the center of it.
You want me to stop that now?
Well, we open it up to the floor.
Okay.
We're gonna open up to the floor.
This is precariously sitting here. Please be careful. Oh, no, there isn't one there. Oh, it'll reach.
All right, I think Moses had something that you wanted to share with us.
I do, actually.
Yeah, you did a good job.
And actually, I enjoyed the debate, and it was a debate. I enjoyed that. The information I have here is, it's been mentioned, well, there's 17 to 18 of these flock cameras within our county. Some are owned by the sheriff, or leased by the sheriff's department. Some are leased by the police department, and some the ag department has. So information that can, it's not the primary, but it costs $500 approximately to install each of those. So that was with the 18 in question. That's $900 installment fee, and then there are approximately $3,000 per year lease on each camera. So that's it costs us $55,000 the first year, $54,000 every year after. And according to the research I found, it was signed in October. Both of them, the county and the police, signed in October 2nd, 2025. So we're we got a year to go. We had the same thing go on several years ago with the cell phone pinging on the towers. All right. Well, it was also, it followed the same situation as, or legal path as this flock camera thing going. The federal appeals court ruled they weren't unconstitutional. It had to go to the U.S. Supreme Court before they were found to be unconstitutional. And it actually, the argument I've read extensively, many of the arguments is that the way these readers are set up, they set such a mass amount, like you said, thousands of them, that they do more surveilling than the cell phone pings were doing. The lady stole a little bit of my thunder quoting Ben Franklin. I do that everywhere. Even though, ironically, originally that's not what he was talking about, something totally different than what we're talking about, but it still applies, And none of us, and I believe Ken knows this, that none of us law-abiding citizens, I hope they do, I hope all law enforcement realize, much like Ed spoke, none of us would want the bad guy to get away, but the lady eloquently said, hey, I go along with Ben Franklin. And Ken's asked me the same question, one of my grandchildren or children, well, you know what, I'd have to take a hit for the team, because I'm not willing to sacrifice liberty for temporary safety. I'm gonna read this, and I timed it. It's less than 2 minutes. Flock surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Suwannee County. This was sent by another concerned person who was unable to make it today. I read through it and edited it a bit to make sure it was factual. These cameras are being used to track and trace the movement of mass populations for data collection. According to the patent US 114-16545, filed by flock safety owner CEO Garrett Langley, the devices are used to photograph and video record the daily habits of populations to build enough of a pattern that an AI program could determine what is normal and what is, quote unquote, out of the ordinary. This is a form of mass surveillance, and as Addison pointed out in their patent, it calls.
I've got it right here.
So the patent also states that the cameras document license plates and the timestamps of vehicles. It also documents the occupants of the vehicle by use of biometric scanning. That means they can scan your face, your eyes, your person. Currently, all the cameras I've seen are pointing at the back of your car. That can be switched by a little mechanical, or double camera easily. So it can document your race, your sex, your weight, and approximate age. They are creating a profile of your everyday movements, your everyday habits, your daily lives. According to the patent, the cameras also have the ability to connect to mobile devices, smart devices such as vehicles, to access audio. That means it can connect with your phone and record your conversation. There are actively several lawsuits against the installation of flock cameras for privacy violations and violations of constitutional rights. It is unlawful for the government to conduct surveillance operations against its people. These cameras violate our Fourth Amendment rights and our right to freedom of movement. We cannot leave this county without being filmed by these cameras. The kicker is, flock cameras use a program called Gotham to store the data that is collected by the cameras. The company that owns the Gotham program is Palantir. Palantir is owned by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is an associate of the convicted child sex trafficker, human trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. According to the Department of Justice's file, Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein communicated over 2,000 times, and Peter Thiel received $40 million from Jeffrey Epstein. And he didn't kill himself, by the way. That's Moses' opinion. Not only is Peter Thiel a known associate of convicted pedophile, but Thiel himself owns Thiel Missionary, which encourages young kids 22 and younger to drop out of school and attend his missionary. And yes, Peter Thiel is funded flock safety by investing $275 million through his Founders Fund investing company. Is this the type of people we want surveilling our country? Why are we allowing surveillance cameras to be placed on our roads, around our schools, in our neighborhoods that are owned and funded by known associates of a convicted sex offender? And thanks for listening to me. Very possible.
They're their venture capitalists. And they were military only for 10 years. And now they're available for surveillance.
Is there any more comments?
If anybody would like to keep discussing, I'm happy to stay over, go to the Brown Lantern, wherever you want. Also, if you want to FOIA your ALPR data, I can walk you through that.
Good luck getting it from the incumbent sheriff.
I already did.
He gave it to you?
I'm sorry, Roundtree. That's the beauty and the sickness of it. You
That's
need the
the
weakest
city.
point.
You'll get it from the city. You
Yeah.
won't get it from him.
That's okay. I got nationwide because they have access to nationwide. It's the weakest link.
Yes.
But yes, with that-
You said.
With that comment, is
Excuse
there any way to decentralize it? If we're paying for this service, we own that data. Why can't we?
No, we don't.
No,
That's it.
Nope. Here's the contract.
that's, if you've been listening to him, he's made that quite clear.
It probably goes to
The
China.
data's out there.
Then that's a good reason. If they're going to pay for it, they need a contract that says we own it. You want to do this?
Well, the value of it is the sharing of it.
Well, but then there's a person like the example that Ken gave was they had to go through him to that convenience store. He was there. He at least was a cop with our best interests in mind.
Yes.
And the sheriff is supposed to have our best interests in mind. If they got to go through the local police, I feel a little bit better with that than just some guy sitting off in Washington watching what I'm doing.
Talk to me afterwards about the contract.
Kevin
I can
had
show you a
Kevin?
lot.
My question, and this is for both Addison as well as Ken, does anybody know in the situation where the woman was inappropriately arrested for a traffic homicide by FHP, was there any disciplinary action against those troopers that inappropriately arrested her rather than doing a proper
There's
investigation.
currently a Florida Highway Patrol IG, that's the internal investigators, who are pretty dang ruthless, doing an internal on it right now. Now, we can argue now, well, they won't do nothing. Well,
Got that reputation,
I'm
sir.
on the board of directors for the Florida Association of State Troopers. For this troop, it's 8 counties. I represent troopers in disciplinary issues. I can tell you, the Florida Highway Patrol just let somebody go for failure to do job duties and functions. What was that job, duty, and function? He got sent to a traffic crash. It was alleged somebody was hurt, that the driver at fault was DUI. And he did not make the arrest. He did not even do field sobriety tests. So they had an internal done. I represented. And I told him, I said, you're looking at 5 days off without pay or dismissal. They fired him.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Well, so, now he can try to go work, but he won't go to work for the JSOs and the Orlando PDs and the Hillsborough County SOs. He can probably go work for James PD or Hamilton County SO.
Or he'll have access to Flock.
Yeah.
No, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Was there you seem more intimate with the insides of that. Was she ever compensated? Because
So the way this works is that let's just say that, and I know she was released, everything got back, and it's a big mess, but let's just say she's going to sue. All right, you sue the Florida Highway Patrol. Florida Highway Patrol, all state, all county, all cities have sovereign immunity. What is that? That means it makes it really hard to sue a governmental agency in Florida. All right, so you come with 2 attorneys, they come with 10. So she sues the Florida Highway Patrol, Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, State of Florida, and the governor. Okay. Well, Morgan and Morgan get a win for it, and it's $250,000 or whatever. Now, wait a minute, they're not going to cut a check right then. It has to go before the Florida legislature, and they have to okay that before that happens, under sovereign immunity.
practically speaking, again, I don't have any experience with this compared to yours. What are the odds of her getting any sort of compensation?
50-50.
What kind of compensation do you think she might receive at the end of the day? Not the lawyer's fees. but-
750 to, well, after the attorney gets his whack,
Yeah, just your guesstimate.
500 to 750,000.
How much?
500 to 750,000.
50,
The
50.
lawyer's
She
going to get
settles,
500.
most places has a,
They take 25%.
just like with the city, to the city, I think it's like, they'll settle for 49,000.
Or if you settle for a whole lot less, yes, ma'am.
Well, I know the VA, I worked there, they would settle because they never wanted it to trial.
No.
But we haven't
They were
mentioned,
an easy
So
one.
that,
we haven't mentioned the concept of somebody gets pulled over, he absolutely knows he didn't do anything wrong, and he just mistakenly gets out of his car holding his
Black belt.
phone and gets his ass shot.
That's my next question is give or take,
All right,
how
so
long till it
is there more
happens?
stories?
Let's take bets.
You know,
Yes, but I can tell you, Ken Weaver, personally, has done, if there's anything I've done, is thousands and thousands and thousands of traffic stops. I've done a bunch of them, and I can tell you, Ken Weaver to this day, the good Lord is not, I have not had to shoot anybody. I have not had to shoot at anybody. I have come close. I have come very close, but I have not had to do that with all the thousands and thousands and thousands. But it's training, 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 training.
You saw that guy had a gun pointed on that kid. He's a dumb
Yeah.
kid. He might come out with his phone. He might come out doing
All
it
right,
wrong
so
because he's a
we're
dumb
Yeah.
kid.
trying to do.
And you said they're
felonies-
2 years, not
felony
10 years
stops.
nowadays.
If it's like Grand Theft Auto or it's a stolen vehicle, we're trained to do. But as soon as we figure out what it is, you put it back. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I haven't pointed a gun at somebody that ultimately was just speeding at 120 miles an hour down the road. I thought they were running for something, but they weren't. She was just going 100. And she said, "You're pointing a gun at me." "Yes, ma'am." And I put it back in my holster and I said, "I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why it's back here." Because I chased her for 8 miles. Thought she was
Went
running.
by Brian pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't feel like 8 miles.
So that we've done some of this recently, and I want to bring it up again. Do we want, as an organization, to pick up the flock cameras as an issue that we're going to have a public speaker speak about that represents us? Because a lot of us speak as individuals all the time, but Bo did the data centers and he spoke for us, and I think it carries more weight when we do that. Does anyone want to make a motion that we pick it up?
Are you saying we're going to take a position for or against?
So, do we want to pick it up as an issue? Do we want to take a motion? And then we'll decide who our speaker is.
I'll make a motion. And
Yes,
we
ma'am.
do pick it up. We do have a spokesperson.
Okay.
from every patriots.
And does your motion include a pro or con? A stance?
Of course it does.
We didn't have a stance on the data centers because our motion was strictly, please get a workshop. But
Well,
this is different.
I mean, this is different. This is different. Yeah, totally against Fox cameras. Totally.
Okay, and your motion is? Would you re-speak it?
That we need a speaker, yes.
And that we're
Taking a position
taking a position?
Yes.
against.
Does anyone want to second that motion?
I'll say I'm not. I love her to death and I respect her though. I can't.
We either do or we don't.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
can't. It's either one ditch or the other. Which one you want to be?
Virginia, it has to be a member.
It has to be a member that seconds that motion. That
I
motion.
need a second.
Well, I'll second it then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Oh,
What? Oh, open it for discussion.
right.
Okay. We'll open it for discussion. Yes, Steve.
Well, I know we're low on time, but just don't want to
No, we're
rush,
okay. We got 10 minutes.
rush into it.
So they'd be probably speaking at city council and county commission meetings, and they might be writing articles for the newspaper.
We're definitely against. Yep.
I know that Taylor County has just recently, the city council canceled their flock cameras, but the county's keeping them. But it costs the city $9,000 to cancel it.
We'll push. We gotta push.
But
Which city?
Perry,
Perry?
Taylor County. Perry is the city that's the county seat, and they canceled, the city canceled.
Yeah, flock. For me, and for part of just this discussion, flock is the tip of the iceberg. It's surveillance is it goes a lot deeper than flock, including my cell phone, including possibly your appliances in your home, things like that, which are totally illegal. But that stuff's there. Your TV, there's stuff in there, and I believe it's in there. But that's just so because it's the tip of the iceberg, you got to start someplace.
Gotta start something.
Banks, tellers, all night tellers, everything.
So was that in support?
That was in support.
Okay.
That was in support.
You circled that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, there's always
No, in
things that
support
go-
of the
The
motion.
motion, right.
The motion.
In discussion, I hear in what y'all are being, Steve, this Axon. I have done a lot of research, but they're supposed to be flock on steroids. Okay, so y'all, when y'all go looking, please look at Axon as well. AXON.
Anytime you get around an FHP marked car and some of the unmarked cars, they have 360 video and all that.
And that's
I would
okay.
kind of expect that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, it could be parked right over there.
But
First
I
time
mean,
I
You're
heard
walking
flock
by and you're
cameras.
gonna be on video.
First time I heard of flock cameras was this man saying, I just moved here to get away from mass surveillance. And I was shocked and dismayed to see flock cameras. And I went, what's a flock camera? So I had no idea. I knew the interstates had cameras on them.
Every mile.
I knew they
It's
had.
on a 360 gimbal mount.
If you don't mind, about 5 seconds. There's Flock, of course. There's about 2 of these companies owned by Flock. You've got ALPR, which is a technology. LSAG, Leonardo is a big one. Bright, Eagle Eye, Fricada, Insight LPR, DRN Data, Hike Vision, Axis, these other I'm not going to try to pronounce, but sure 3 more. There's a lot of them.
And Axon, the company that was just mentioned, their technology, they're putting cameras into the light bulb system of your street lights.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, we need to get rid of flock, I agree.
Amen.
If we get rid of flock,
Then we'll start on
we then need to make sure that when we see the city crews putting up these street lights, that they're not putting Axon cameras into those street lights.
Correct.
I would propose a city ordinance and stuff. We can talk about that later.
Axon is who makes the body cameras.
Yep,
That's right.
correct.
You know,
They're
I'm pretty
advancing in their
old.
technology,
And
I read what he's talking about, them light bulbs.
Trump has
It's a
stopped.
big,
That's why he's pushing for AI in his law.
Who does?
Trump.
Trump.
Has stock in Axon. And that's what actually he's getting behind.
I'd have to be careful, I'm not
traitor.
I haven't got stock, I
And
don't know what
also-
it is.
So go get rid of Flock.
They're fixing to put 360 flock cameras on half the Florida Highway Patrol's.
Don't
fleet
forget the
patrol.
drones and the,
Yeah, the drones. Axon's into the drones.
yep. Well, they have Flock drones too.
I've had drones over my home.
I'm going to add one last thing, and then I'm ready to go home. I remember when I was a child watching a movie, and one of the scenes in the movie was the guy opens his medicine cabinet, and there's a man there saying, "Make certain you take your pills today."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
AI will be able to do that.
Yeah.
yes,
Twilight Zone.
sounds like it. All right, are we ready to have a vote?
I love.
Any more discussion? All right, those in favor of the American Patriots taking on this issue as a stance and having a speaker, and I'm proposing Moses Cupper as our speaker. He's very experienced speaking for us and for himself. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
That-
We have one opposed. Our secretary is assuming us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You get that? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I didn't know if
We're smoking a cigarette.
No, she's there. She's just not on the big screen.
Did she vote?
Terry,
Did you vote for or against?
Carol?
I will vote for.
She voted
Okay.
for.
Alright, and then I wanted to mention that the Swanee County Sheriff's Office, investigator
Jacob Williams.
Williamson is gonna be presenting their presentation on flock cameras at the library Monday.
Not the sheriff, not the chief deputy. If anybody's thinking they're gonna do it, they laid it off on poor little old Jacob.
At the library, and I'm kinda curious to see how many people show up, if there's enough room for it, but I would encourage everybody to go to that, just to get more information. I understand FDLE owns the flock cameras.
FDL.
No.
That's what I have heard.
FDLE has cameras in this county. Florida Highway Patrol has cameras in this county. Florida Department of Agricultural Law Enforcement has cameras in this county on I-10 and then on the inspection stations. And I-75, that's who owns, and now I can't tell you what the feds own. I have no idea. They don't tell us.
Did you say FDLE does or doesn't?
The FDLE does, and so does FAA.
Are those
what I
license
heard-
plate
that's what I
readers or
heard
just
Taylor
broadly
County.
cameras?
Pardon?
Do you know if those are license plate readers or just cameras? Like
Where?
dumb cameras. The highway patrol cameras. Are those just regular cameras or do they
You talking
automatic
about on I-10?
on I-10, on I-95?
Right, those are surveillance cameras. Now, they don't, I've been told that they don't have any, because there's so much data,
Uh-huh.
they don't have enough capacity to store it. So if you call
Sign me
in
up, I'll do it for a couple mil.
complaint on
It'd be cheap.
somebody holding a gun on somebody at the 283 mile marker, they can gimbal it around and zoom in and verify that. every mile. Those have been up 8 years. But as I told him, there's new cameras at every intersection north of the city. At Lowe's, in front of Lowe's, in front of Walmart's. And if you'll look, those new cameras have been put up. So I asked the question, I said, what are those cameras for? Because the commission hasn't, or the city hasn't voted on red light ticket cameras. Well, what that is DOT has decided that it costs too much money, too many times, for those strips in the pavement that kicks the lights to make the light cycle when somebody pulls up. So instead of paying for that every time somebody rips it, they've now tripped, those lights trip the red lights. But you'll see there's a nice cameras up at every one. Now,
Who do they belong to?
Florida DOT.
Does it belong to them, or are they renting them? Or they
Florida DOT.
Moses?
30 seconds. I failed to mention that there were 7, I heard the debate, there are currently, as of today, that I found 70 documented cases of abuse of the flock system by law enforcement. Okay, 70, and so I don't have the history of all what went down.
And then I've got a bunch of cases where they've been in here in this count or in this state. And
That's
Georgia,
wrong. 79.
They've been arrested, decertified, and they've been charged with felonies.
How many in Florida?
Oh, not in Florida. The ALPR abuse library. They state 79. It's funny, when I printed this a month ago, it was 70. So I figured.
Georgia, there's been 4 or 5 in the last 6 months.
Oh, there's been like about 12 or 20 or so different officers, most of which are arrested. And you know how hard it is to get arrested as an officer.
All right.
Well, in Georgia.
Well,
Take
they
out
must
our
have.
little gavel.
We must have model citizens being police officers for there not to be any, huh?
Motion to adjourn 1 minute early.
Anybody second that motion?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye, aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Unanimous.
Hey, this is a good example of what we should be doing.
Who seconded the motion?
I did.
Adjourn? Oh,
Ed Lee.
Ed Lee.
That was good.
Yep. All right, we good, Carol? All right. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, no problem. We gotta get this down and we can figure out how to change the display. So, because I still, all I saw was, I see our screen like just up in the top. That's
Yeah,
it.
count it out.
But you take up the whole screen.
Jurisdictions cancel their
Yeah.
contracts or deactivate them.
63.
Yep.
63.
All right.
I'd love for if there's
We got it.
something at a time y'all want me to address them or the county, that we get a lot of input. And let me, you know what, instead of me just doing research, everybody put in input. And I would,
Not saying the same
Or
thing.
they'll switch over to
Yeah.
Exxon.
You heard it today.
Pinky promise.
yeah. And the argument's pretty basic. I mean,
It is.
or, again, I'll tap into him and do my own, and what I've got to, I've stored them.
I think you,
Covered.
we're gonna do our little email thing about, so, alright, we'll have to know when the meetings are.
Right, when we're gonna do it. And I prefer we agree when, you know what I mean, instead of me just doing it at a whim, I'm I hate getting up there. I'd be comfortable representing our group when it's something that we've agreed on and focused on, but you know, I've only done it one time in the years I've been in, and that was on that resolution, you know, so.
Well, when you get up there, that's why I said you need some backing.
That's what
You
he
need to
said.
say, and we need to all stand.
That would be nice if we had a room full of red shirts.
Yeah,
That'd be real
well, I
nice.
won't wear a red shirt, but I'll stand.
The county commission asked who to vote representative, and they stood there.
Yeah, yeah. And that makes a difference. That'd be a good,
I think we need to, get more people to show up at the meeting. We gotta have our backing, you just can't get up and run around about something we need to there. Right.
So I was waiting for you to move that so we didn't mess up.
I gotta get a bit of tripod. That worked.
I'm gonna turn
That
the
was better
AC
than
up.
better than a secretary delegate. Taking notes the whole time.
The board has removed a very specific verb.
Yeah, he did.
He signed it. They signed it on something. In February of this year, as of February, they do so that.
Now we're gonna really get them.
Hopefully.
Listen, it took us a year, it took us a year.
With the fluoride.
The fluoride, what, they turned us down, they mulched us. Some of them mulched us.
It was only
That
after
easier to
there
read that
was
again. So
a
even when I was in the ICU,
court decision
you know, when the mall was
about
doing well,
fluoride. But then there was the ammunition.
We can use that for leverage for those who has already stopped it, then we can have something to use for leverage.
I respectfully disagree. I think that
I'll talk to them, everyone personally.
you can, but respectfully, I don't think they care enough because they have gotten us this
Listen,
far.
I've been in many of them.
Only bitter, I think all four of them
We've
need to
been-
be replaced.
No, listen,
Oh,
It
I'm
can
sorry.
be worse.
I bet it can, but
We've seen some
Almost.
really
you're telling me we
bad
can't
ones.
find better candidates?
Yeah, we doing okay,
Hey,
Steve?
doing good,
Haven't
yeah.
had a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
No, Carol's been responding more to the emails there, I'm just.
No, it's fine.
incinerator, come
I didn't check
in.
this out.
I've been sending
Put a
out
big
quite a few some
incinerator
stuff
down
from
here. And we
from
call
Substack, and it's just like,
Yeah.
just feel free to email me back and go, okay, Kevin, that's enough.
No. So, no problem. I feel bad that I don't.
Aborted babies over here in front of us. They did not.
Yep.
But we got all this
understand you guys
information.
Yeah.
I will tell you a statement, if you promise to keep it just between me and you. I mean, you can repeat it to Carol, of course. Some friends of ours, they live actually almost next door to us.
I'm just worried again.
We were driving by and they go, you keep seeing the spaghetti dinners and stuff at the Catholic Church.
Uh-huh.
You don't have any plans, let's go to the spaghetti dinner. Well, this is weird, and call me a conspiracy theorist, call them a conspiracy theorist.
Uh-huh.
They said, we sit down, we don't know any of these people, we don't attend church there, we came to the dinner.
I appreciate what you do. Yeah,
This
you've
guy comes and
educated me
sits
on
down
it.
at the
I'm
table.
trying my best.
I bet it is.
So purposely,
The last couple of
I'm
months
not
I've been
telling
like,
him this, I'm not saying it in front of him either.
Oh,
Or shake his hand.
Yeah,
Good meeting y'all.
It's good.
come back.
Talking and debating and discussing.
Have you ever seen somebody?
At my church?
Ken, good to see you, man.
No, I haven't.
Does it look all right?
Hey, Ken. Thanks for Ken. Hopefully you're not leaving. American Patriots.
No,
We need you.
That's what it's all
We
about.
need, yeah.
I'm good.
Yep.
So it was really weird. They go, you know what?